Unmute myself. Sorry, Shah. Let's jump right into it with the payroll numbers hitting the wires early on Friday. What was your reaction to them, and were they what you expected?
Well, I don't have expectations when it comes to those kinds of numbers. I don't model those things. It's just too complicated, takes up too much time. I go with the consensus estimates and then see how the market reacts. I thought the market reacted very well to them as far as the numbers not being good. I thought the market would have had a little more of a negative reaction. I thought it would have sold off somewhat significantly, but certainly I think on the week as a whole and ending on Friday, the market showed strength. Which again, that was probably surprising to me because those numbers said to me wage growth much stronger than expected. The labor market is very strong, and that portends the whole story of wage price spiral. That's out there now, and I thought the market would have been a little more negative, but I think they're still hanging on to earlier in the week and Powell's comments and his dovishness.
Now, there's some people out there who are calling the Fed to end rate hikes entirely because of the jobs and PCE data that came out last week. Are you anywhere near that boat?
No, I think that's silly. The chance of them pivoting anytime soon is between slim and none. And slim only comes into play if we have some catastrophic event, capital markets implode on some black swan or something crazy happening out of left field. But that's highly unlikely. And so there's no reason for the Fed to pivot. There's no reason for them to stop raising rates. Will they lower the pace in terms of from 75 to 50? Yes. Will they lower then from 50 to 25? I think so, yes. But they're not going to stop raising. They may take a break now and then, but they're going to message if they do take a break that they're not done until they see the whites of the eyes of inflation.
All right, so you just said 50 points for next week. Is that what you're expecting?
Yeah, that's my best guess, and I think Fed fund futures show that too, and I think that's the consensus. But I've been there since the last 75 hike because they front loaded enough. They are worried about some events happening, credit event happening somewhere. They are worried about the capital markets, but I think the message is pretty clear because Powell basically said they were going to step down. And number two, making a bullish statement like that a week ahead of a Fed meeting. 2 weeks ahead, it was extraordinary and very dovish, in my opinion. So I think 50 basis points is to be expected. 25 would be a shock.
25 would be a shock. In that jobs report, remember, jobs are the last lagging indicator, and the household survey has shown no increase in U.S. jobs since March. So we might start to see a negative job report heading into maybe the end of this first quarter. That will obviously create a lot of tension in the markets, a lot of certain questions around when will they start to cut. But do you think that we're going to get any knee-jerk reaction if we get a smaller 50 basis point, or do you think we're just kind of priced in heading into next Wednesday?
I think that's mostly priced in, Garrett, and I think the market will probably react positively to it. Again, depending on the Q&A, depending on whatever statements come along with the meeting. But I don't think that market's going to be like, oh my gosh, what a shock! It's only 50 basis points. I think they'll be looking for nuances in any messaging. But I'm still on board with the likelihood of it's a lower than expected CPI. If we get a lower than expected CPI number on the day before the Fed's FOMC announcement, then I think the market can rally then on what the FOMC rate hike is. And I think we can see something towards the end of the month. But I'm in the camp where this is going to be, if we have a nice December to remember, we get a Santa Claus rally, we have a decent first couple of days, week or two of January. I think this is going to turn around somewhere in the first quarter. I don't know when, but somewhere in the first quarter. Enjoy this rally, people, because we're not done. I don't think we're done checking the downside levels yet.